Hi, I'm Eliot, the IELTS expert at Magoosh, and in this video, we're going to look at 5 easy tips to bring up your band score on the IELTS exam. Let's start with the first one. Number 1, study vocabulary. This is probably, hopefully, something you're already doing. But if you're not, it can be an easy way to boost your scores quite significantly. Your vocabulary is going to be important on every section of the IELTS exam: speaking, listening, reading, writing. And IELTS tests you on your knowledge of vocabulary, in particular with skills like paraphrasing and checking your vocabulary level on the speaking and writing section. So it's very important. You should be studying vocabulary every single day. Try to learn 10 to 15 new words at least, and keep a track of the words you're learning. Put them in a journal, write them down somewhere. Just study vocabulary as much as you possibly can. A second easy tip to bring up your band score is to study the question types. Listening and reading in particular have a lot of unusual types of questions, probably question types you haven't seen on other exams you've taken before. Yes, there are multiple choice and those kind of standard true, false, not given questions that you may have seen before, but there are also some really unusual types, like fill in the blank with word limits on them, so you can only write 2 or 3 words, for example. You need to get to know the IELTS questions very, very well. And getting to know them means that you won't have to read the directions or waste time and energy worrying about how you should complete a particular section of the test. So study the questions, study the types of questions you're going to get in each section, and know them very well before you take the exam. A third tip for you. So IELTS has 2 versions. You may be taking the computer test, or you may be taking the pencil and paper test. If you're taking the computer version of IELTS, you need to practice the writing section by actually typing your answers. You need to know how long it takes you and how quickly you can type both of the essays they'll expect you to write. One of the major problems students have is that they run out of time in the writing section. So make sure you can type your answers quickly enough and practice your writing section by typing every single time. If you're taking the paper test, you have to write by hand. Get a pencil or a pen and write your practice essays not on the computer, but on a piece of paper. That's the only way you're going to know how quickly you can write by hand and whether you're going to write your answers within the time limit. So make sure you're using the exact format that you are going to be using on exam day when you're practicing the writing section. Okay, now our 4th tip. This one I hope everybody does. You need to take at least 1 full-length practice test before you take the actual exam. Hopefully you can take more than 1, but taking a full-length practice test is the only way you're going to get a real sense of the timing of the test, right? If you need to be setting timers and really following the exact formatting rules that you're going to experience on exam day. So set some time aside. You're going to need 3 hours at least to take a full-length practice test. Get all your materials together, and at some point, a couple of weeks hopefully, before you have to take the real exam, you should be taking a full-length practice test to get the feel for how long it takes, to get your stamina up so that you can keep your mind really sharp that entire time during the 3 hours. And you may discover, well, maybe you get really tired in the reading section or the writing section. You need to work on something more, because when you take your practice test with the real test-like conditions, you faced problems that you didn't realize you were going to face. It's a really important thing to do, to take at least 1 full-length practice test with all the same time restrictions and rules that you'll face on the actual exam. The 5th tip here is to make sure that you understand how they're going to score you in the speaking and the writing sections. These sections are a little bit different than the reading and listening sections because they're not standardized, or at least not in the same way. They're going to use a rubric, or what IELTS calls band descriptors, to score your speaking and writing responses. Basically, these band descriptors are the different categories they're going to be analyzing as they listen to your responses in the speaking section and as they read your essays. So they're going to be looking at how well you use grammar and vocabulary and how well your ideas make sense together. Also, how well you answered the essay question or the speaking question that they asked you. Okay, so many students don't ever go even look at these band descriptors or understand what's on them. But you should go and check out how IELTS is going to score your responses in the speaking and writing section. So you can go to the band descriptors that IELTS provides, but we also have some information for you in our blog that will help you understand how the IELTS band descriptors work and how you can use them in order to improve your score and understand the scores that you're receiving in those sections. Okay, so we have some great free resources related to not only the speaking and writing section, but other things we've talked about in this video. Check out the links in the description below, and if you like this video, you can check out these videos as well and learn more about the IELTS exam.